Sunday behind, and I mean, it's not a super short week, but a little bit of a shorter week. Just give me a sense of the confidence and the attitude going forward here.
Yeah, I think it's really the same every week, and obviously it stings more coming off a loss, and you want to put it behind you quicker. But every week you learn from the good stuff, you learn from the bad stuff, and win or lose, you try to take it with you into the next week, and this one's no different. Obviously, it didn't go our way in a variety of ways, but got to learn from it and move forward and get ready to play a good Broncos team.
Watch the tape. What's maybe the one positive that jumped out to you, and maybe what's one thing you guys really want to focus on or emphasize this week of cleaning up?
Yeah, the first half execution, aside from a penalty here or there, and was really good. Certainly those last two drives and the way we finished off the first half with the touchdown and kind of ran that clock down to the bottom. I thought that was really well done by us and the coaches of the management of that. And then the second half was just not even close to good enough and execution. And I wish there was one thing I could say if we clean this up, it would be different. But it was a million things. It was myself, everyone would had a hand in it, and has to be a lot better.
We just didn't get an explanation, so I'm just curious, what happened at the end of the first quarter with the clock? Did you think the play clock was out of the game clock?
It's somewhat subjective. It was very close.
Yeah. And
we've had a game previously this year where it was, I think, about the same thing, and they gave us the quarter. They didn't give us the delay game, and I think when they're within a second of each other is what they try to do, and they deemed that one not within a second. So somewhat subjective there, but the call they thought they had to make.
What do you think been the biggest thing with this team since the bye? I mean, we look at the numbers before and after the bye.
Yeah.
Do you see something different, happening? How can you guys clean it up from what's changed post-bye now?
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. I know we scored 40 against the Chargers and played pretty well against the Saints, and then the other three just didn't do our thing quite the same way offensively. And I wish there was one thing you could put your finger on, but there's not. It's just plain execution and doing what we're supposed to do, and starts with me and leading that charge and getting us back on track.
Back to the second half or third quarter struggles, maybe a little bit coming out of the locker room. I know Dane talked about that the other day too. Like, you guys have tried a myriad of different things, to try to get going. Been able to pinpoint why? Maybe it's not.
I wish. Yeah, it's frustrating as much as it is for everyone else. It's very frustrating for us, and we're very aware of it, and we know we have to continue to be aware of it and continue to try to find ways to be more productive in the third quarter. And it's everybody, man. And I wish there was one thing that, again, that you could point to as the reason why, or one thing that fixes it. And but there isn't. It's just plain execution. It's plain focus. It's plain doing our jobs a little bit more consistently in that quarter.
And these games so often just come down to a couple plays. When you take a step back and look at that play, as bad as maybe some of the things were, is it really about like that sequence, end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, where like they hit you on one, the fumble, like all of a sudden that's where
the snap exchange hurt us in our own territory, and then they get the touchdown there to follow that up. And it's points off turnovers, and something that we preach that we want to do, and we force turnovers to score points, and typically that helps you win the game. And we were on the wrong side of that.
On characters, numbers for Saint the last 2 weeks. The Saints, kind of did that delivery, trying to take him out.
Yeah.
What was it mostly Chicago, and how much do you guys have to kind of get back to be on the same page here? He's such a big key to what you guys do offensively. How much does he got to get going in Denver?
Yeah, you'd love to get him going. I think he's doing a great job. He's been very accountable of things that he feels like he can do better, and then for me as well, I'm very much talking to him about ways that I want to try to do better for him and get him the ball in certain ways a little bit better than we have in the last couple of weeks. But he's one of the best guys I've ever been around, and have no doubts that he's going to be just fine, and we'll finish this season off pretty well.
What our defense is doing with him, if anything, of late.
Well, the Saints game, they doubled him. They paid a little bit more attention to him in this game. I don't believe they quite doubled him. But yeah, it's what good players get. Good players get doubles often, and he's gotten that at times this year. And sometimes he's able to beat the double, and it doesn't really matter. But trying to get him the ball in different ways.
I'm curious about just emotional waves, and maybe it's on my mind more because fans ride them at a much higher degree, obviously, and it's certainly going a different direction this week. I'm curious, you guys can't do that, right? Your coach talks about that all the time, like stay level.
We'd have no chance if we
bounce back. But like, when did you
like that?
When did you, I guess, learn to do that? Because I guess it's human nature, right, to take a loss really, really hard. So when did you learn, I guess, to not let loss beat you twice, I guess.
Yeah, I think kind of what I spoke about on the first question is like you treat them all the same, the wins and losses. We've been fortunate enough to win 9 out of 13 at this point, so been able to learn from wins a little bit more often than losses. But you treat them the same. You learn from them and you get better. And it's a long season. There's a 17-game season, and each game counts the same. And so if you put more weight on one than the other, then you end up beating yourself twice, like you said at times. So you treat them all the same. You learn from it. You get better, and you improve. And at the end of the season, you count them all up and see who continues to go.
As a team captain and the leader of this team, do you say that out loud? How do you go about kind of creating that mentality and just making sure everybody's good, checking in with guys? And
Yeah, you just try to be consistent. Just try to be the same every day, whether it goes your way or it doesn't. The week before, be the same. Be the same guy. Don't ride the roller coaster. Don't ride the emotions, and know that they can look to me as a guy that's going to be steady. And at the same time, when the urgency needs to be there and the intensity needs to be there, it needs to be there from me and it needs to be there from a lot of guys. And I'm aware of that as well.
Jared, how about Denver's defense? Surtain, obviously really good, and they force a ton of turnovers. What do they do? What do you see on tape from them if they do so well?
Yeah, really good scheme. Obviously, Surtain's a great player, but they got a lot of good players over there. Do some variety of pressures and, like you said, try to create turnovers, and that'll be our challenge this week is making sure we're taking care of the ball and giving us the best chance to win.
How valuable an asset is it to have two running backs who are not the same style, but almost interchangeable with the production you can get out of them?
Yeah, they're both really good. It's fun to have them, and I think as well as they both run the ball, they both can catch the ball as well out of the backfield, and have been a good tandem for us this year, and have certainly ran the ball well in the last handful of weeks, and need to keep getting them the ball.
Yeah, Surtain. Simmons, I think.
So what?
Simmons
Yep.
in that back end. I mean, I think maybe the most interceptions over the last 5 years, multiple interceptions every year. Like, is he kind of like the first play you're trying to identify on most pass plays?
Yeah, he's got great instincts. I think you always know where those type of guys are. He's a ball hawk in the back end, and does a great job with his eyes, understanding route concepts, understanding what I'm trying to do. And so yeah, there'll be somewhat of a chess match with him of where he's going to be and how I want to try to play and make certain plays depending on what he's doing. So yeah, there will be a little bit of that, but it's a good defense all around, and he is a good part of it.
Saturday night games feel like Pac-10 all over again?
Yeah, it's Pac-12 after dark. Yeah, it'll be fun in front of our home fans. I said this earlier on the radio, but getting in front of them, feeling their passion, their energy is going to be so important for us, and we're excited to be there.
Yeah, sleeping decent.
What's decent?
I'm sleeping in a separate room right now, so I can't tell you. Yeah, exactly. Wifey's taking.
Make up for that one in the offseason.
Yeah, 100%.
The other part of that crazy week, how's the thumb?
It's good. It's good. A little adjusting, getting used to playing with it, but felt fine during the game. Wasn't too painful, so.
You said that pain was going to be the biggest challenge. How did you find, I guess, doing your job and other guys wrapping up, tackling, hitting? What was the biggest challenge of playing with it?
Probably just playing with it. I mean, you can imagine like having no wrist motion, but either way, kind of is what it is.
What was it like playing for Sean Payton when you were in New Orleans?
Yeah, obviously I have a lot of respect for him. We won a lot of games. He knows how to motivate a team. He knows how to, call an offense, obviously. Just definitely a great coach. And, it's funny how the season started and where they're at now. And they're on a roll. They won 6 of the last 7. And, I know a decent amount of coaches over there. So, yeah, he has a good staff, and he demands a lot out of his guys, and coaches included.
How similar are he and Dan? And do you see, I think Dan said, the Broncos are us, basically, from last year.
Yeah, right.
Do you see similarities
Yeah.
between both the coaches and the teams, I guess?
I'd say Dan's personality's a little more different. But yeah, as far as like how their season's been going, following from a distance, it's definitely eerily similar to what we went through last year, and kind of just, you just listen to how the media perceives the team. Then now they're starting to catch a little wind, and they're having success.
What jumps out to you the most about their offense?
I haven't dove a ton into it yet, but I think that they're not turning the ball over a lot, from what I can tell. They set up the play action game with Russell and kind of doing what he does best, and that's really what Sean. His offenses are always good. It's putting his players in the best position to succeed, and so.
When I say this, I don't think you'll disagree with me. If you do, then please correct me. But I don't think yet last game was up to your personal standards, your individual performance. In situations like that, how do you, I guess, approach the following week? How do you look to rebound when maybe you don't have the game that you wanted to have?
Yeah, there's give and take with that, I'd say. I feel like for myself, I hold myself to probably a higher standard than anyone in this building probably could. It definitely wasn't, I guess up to that standard. And, you just have to attack each day like it's, just move on to the next game, learn from what you did, and just know that, whether it's adjusting, whether it's, just working on what you got to work on and, move forward.
John Kaminsky said after the game that the defense has kind of lost its confidence and its swagger. Not just how do you find it again, but what goes into that confidence and swagger if you think back to the times where you had the most?
I probably wouldn't say all of that. I wouldn't say completely lost confidence and swagger. I think it's still there. We definitely got settled in that game at, times during that game and just weren't able to capitalize in, late game situations. And so I wouldn't say all that, but just fly around, have fun doing it. I think that's one thing we definitely have to improve on. Just, getting back to playing fast and playing free and not being afraid to mess up or worry about outside noise or even what the coaches think. Just play for each other, play fast, play free, and fly around. And that's really when plays happen. That's when, the good defenses perform.
We've seen Jalen be a little bit of a spark for the linebackers unit. Just talk about a little bit what he brings when he has his opportunity. Reeves-Maybin.
Yeah, it's not shocking at all. He's a great player. And I don't hate it, but I probably dislike it when people say, oh, he's a great ball player. But I think he's a great linebacker in the NFL, and I think that he's more than serviceable to be a starter. And, he's just definitely just when he goes in, he makes plays, and that's kind of what he does.
Dan talked about after you guys lost to Seattle, maybe it opening your eyes a little bit, or I can't remember exactly what he said, but just kind of learning from it. How much do you look at this last game against Chicago, and it seemed like all of it were things that you guys beat yourselves on. How do you turn that into a strength again for this team and go forward and make sure that you continue to play like you were earlier in the year?
Yeah, it's just a credit to the guys we have in our locker room. I think that, everyone's probably intrinsically motivated more than ever. And, it's kind of just who we are and what we do. And, we're going to be all right. We're going to get this thing done right. And we're going to I really believe that. And I think that we're going to get this thing going the way we really want it to, and just a matter of when. It really starts Saturday night.
I wanted to ask about another guy in your room. Jack got the expanded opportunity when you were out. Played another big role this game. I think led the team in tackles. It seems like he's really turning the corner. Just you've been such a part of his development as the leader in that room. So, what are you seeing with how Jack is, I guess, progressing here down the stretch?
I think that he's probably getting a little more comfortable. Just progressing as a rookie, just later in the year. When early in the year things happen fast. It's kind of depending on like where you play in college, and you played in the Big Ten, and just a lot of downhill football, and he's learned play better in space, and just being who he is and who he can be as an athlete and as a linebacker. I think that is really starting to take that turn like you talked about, and he's playing well right now, and he just has to keep it going.
There's a lot of people that kind of look at what the sky is falling just based on outside noise right now. But I'm curious, when you look back at this last game, and specifically the touchdown late third quarter, the free play that hit you on, was that a case of like the defense just sort of kind of got caught off guard? You're expecting them not to snap it, all of a sudden they hit you one, and then the snowball rolls.
Yeah, for sure. I think that you're in that situation, 4th and 13, and some like mistakes happen. Like everyone's human, and that stuff happens. But yeah, it's kind of like we stopped them, right, and then they hit us on a play like that. It's like what can you do? And I don't think that anyone got the sideline. It was woe is me, but You know, it's definitely, you know, it takes a toll, but yeah, it's kind of a crappy situation, but it is what it is.
And then when they snap it as a defense, legitimately, like you don't expect it, you know what I mean? So is there a pause that allows them to?
Yeah, and that's the
get
thing
that
is like
going
when,
somewhere?
yeah, everyone's supposed to keep rushing no matter what, make them blow the play dead. Everyone cover like it's a normal play. But yeah, there's kind of that sort of hesitation that, you know, depending on what call you're in or whatever situation it is, you gotta get back to playing, and
Speaking
you know, it's easier said than done.
Sorry. Speaking of fans, I think Russell Wilson probably got left for dead by fans nationally last year. He is playing well again as they've kind of turned it around this year. Just what have you seen on film? How does he look compared to the player you're used to seeing from his maybe Seattle time?
Yeah, like I said, I haven't really like dug a ton into it, but you know, I think that just playing comfortable, moving the chains, you know, he's extending plays. I was watching the Chargers game last week, you know, a few plays of it, and you know, flipping it out to someone that's right in the check down area and run for a first down. So just able to make plays and kind of do what he was doing in Seattle, and you know, having the run game set up the play action and the boots and everything like that. So
The feet are still dangerous though, whether that's just
For sure.
escaping the pocket or
yeah, for sure.
scrambling.
He has that maneuverability to, you know, extend plays, and you know, that's what he's good at. And he's good at his accurate ball, and that's what makes him tough.
Dan's talked about Bill Parcells, Sean Payton hanging mouse traps from the ceiling as special ways of motivation. I'm just wondering with Dan, maybe over the last few months as you guys are making a playoff push, or maybe last year, has he done anything unique to kind of get you guys motivated to kind of get things situated?
Nothing like that tangible, I guess you'd say. Yeah, Sean's done. Yeah, we've probably seen him do a ton of different stuff, but Dan hasn't really brought in any objects to display that.
Do you have a
This game
favorite?
means- What
Do you have a
this game
favorite from your
means?
time?
Go ahead.
Do you have a favorite from your time under Peyton?
I think the one that probably most notably sticks out is we walked in the team meeting room and he just had like a clear acrylic box full of, you know, like hundreds, and is like full of hundreds. I don't even know how, but apparently it was how much money you'd make if you made a run in the playoffs. So you could probably do the math on that, and I don't know where the money came from or how he got it, but that's probably the most notable.
That was motivation.
I mean, for some.
What do you think this game means to Dan, just given his relationship
Yeah.
with Sean, and I mean, you know, apart from
Yeah.
wanting to win for the.
It's a lot. Obviously, it's, you know, he's probably some sort of mentorship there, and you know, Dan could probably speak on it more. But you know, it's anytime you play, you know, I know for me, you know, it's kind of, you have a different type of approach to these types of games just because you know someone personally, and you know, it definitely probably brings a little more, you know, edge to how you go about your week. And I know that Sean's probably gonna try to come here and put 50 up on us, and that's what we have. That's what we have to be ready. That's just how he is, and just because of all the personal connections that he has. Yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah.
Dan, oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Dan also said this week one of the things that gives him a little bit of confidence heading into the week is maybe some of the core guys, some of the better players didn't play as well last week.
Yeah.
Do you get a sense that maybe there's a little bit of some guys pissed off in there, or a little extra
For
motivation?
sure. Yeah, and that's kind of like the balance of like, you can't be overly pissed off because you gotta be, you know, excited and ready to go for this game and not have your, you know, demeanor too down. So there's a balancing act with that, you know, for me personally too. And you know, I say this a lot, like when we're going after our best players have to play the best, and that's really what's going to take to come down these next 4 games and, you know, rolling into the playoffs. So that's really it.
Played pretty good on defense here. They've gotten you some snaps. Why do you think it took so long?
That caught me off. I don't know, man. Just the opportunity came up, you know, last couple of weeks, and you know, I just try to go out there and make a play whenever I'm out there, limited snaps. So just trying to be impactful in the game. But like, it's kind of like the standard of the linebacker room. You know, it starts with, you know, Alex and trickles down to everyone else. Like, we set the standard, and when you go out there, you know, the standard is that, and everyone's trying to meet that.
I don't just mean this year either. I mean, like, you know, you've been known as a special teams player, I guess, for a large part of your career, and you've done great at that. But do you ever think like, man, I could have been doing this my entire career, playing these defensive snaps, playing a big role on defense?
No, I just try to, make the most of my situations. Whatever that is, try to be a good teammate, whatever role that is for the team. And, I don't really care, like, how many snaps. I just like playing, like being part of the team, so.
Third down is such a critical part to the game, right? And that's where you're making your hay right now. What is it about those third down play calls where you feel like your skill set is really clicking?
I don't know. I think it's kind of just a natural thing that kind of where my skill set is. I think I can help the team on third downs, and the coaches have seen that, and they've put me in some good positions to make plays, and hopefully I can just keep going out there when my number's called and making those plays.
You talked about the standard in that linebacker room that starts with Alex. When it comes to special teams, you like to think that standard for that room starts with you. I mean, you're tied to the NFL lead in special teams tackles, and you guys have played really well in that aspect of the game.
Yeah. Really, I feel like special teams here, man. Honestly, I feel like to me it started with Mulebach. Like, I feel like that was who I looked to when I got here, and like just how consistent he was. And I feel like every season I've been here, we've had a pretty good special teams, and the standard's always been high. And we've kind of had some traditions that we've kept since my rookie year here. And I just try to go out there and energize a group and energize a team with some special teams plays. And I think it takes all of us, and I think we'll keep doing that throughout the year.
What are some of those traditions?
Like we just have a little special teams meeting, and it's kind of goes different every week, but just a space for whoever needs to talk to say, kind of like set our mind for the game, give us a reminder or a tip, and I really feel like that. It could just be my mindset. I don't know if everyone else feels like this, but I kind of feel like that locks us in a little bit, and just brings us together as a group to go out there and perform.
What is the dynamic like with Mule, got Fip in that room too, and then Jet as well, who's helping out?
I just think they all put us in position to make plays. Fip always says kind of like the special teams group, it can kind of change year to year, and you kind of got to create a new identity. You got to go out and reprove yourself every year, and I think that's just the beauty of it. And, there's a lot of teams who have special teams who don't really buy into it. Some whole organizations don't buy into it, and every year they kind of making special teams harder and taking more plays out of the game. And I've just been fortunate to be here where everyone kind of believes in special teams and values it, and I think that's helped me.
Why do you think that is? Why everyone believes in special teams here?
I don't know, because I don't know. Dan wants to be tough. I don't know. I don't know. It's been here since I've been here. We come out, we play our plays out. We cover a lot of kicks where a lot of teams want to kick touchbacks. The team's starting to fair catch the ball, and I don't really think that's part of the identity here. And I'm happy it's not.
You've seen Russ a few times in your career. I think it was one of those games where you started long 70 or so snaps the last time you guys played him here. A lot of people wanted to kind of bury him last year. He's playing really well right now. When you look at the tape and maybe you just watch games on him, overall, like what do you see from him? Does he look like the same guy that you saw in 2021?
Yeah, he's definitely always been a good player in this league, and I think that confidence goes a long way in this league, and I feel like he's gotten that back, and he throws the deep ball really well, and you kind of see that on film when when he's comfortable and he gets the ball going. You got to be prepared for that, and I think that's just part of the league, man. Like there's ups and there's downs, and those people who can stay consistent and just keep working through it usually come out on top in the end.
He's one of those guys that has mobility, but it seems like he's always got that throw first mindset, right? What is the challenge as a linebacker when that quarterback can move the pocket, but really what he's trying to do is create passing lanes as opposed to just taking off running?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Everyone got to be able to, you might cover the route, but the play's not over. You got to be ready for second, third moves, and especially with their team, they like to establish a run. They have a good run game, so linebackers are, you're already going to be juiced up trying to stop the run. Now you got to bail out for play action. Now you got to worry about him running. So it's definitely a challenge, but I think we'll be prepared for it.
Just one of the guys that played with Calvin Shepard here in 2018. What's it like playing for, he's the linebacker, pass rush coach. What's it like being coached by somebody you played with?
Let's see. That's pretty cool. Like, he's a linebacker, so, we kind of all have our linebacker persona, and, that kind of the way he was as a player is how he is as a coach. So it's been a cool experience having that, playing with someone and they're coming in and coaching you. And a lot of times I feel like that makes you, like, easy on someone, but I think he does a good job of kind of staying on top of us and, keeping that standard high like I talked about.
Just in the linebacker room with him, you got so many guys doing so many different things. You're doing what you're doing. Malcolm's playing slot receiver some weeks. Is there anything about, Shep and just maybe the way he encourages you guys to embrace new roles or anything like that that you think allows you guys to be versatile as a group?
Yeah, well, he's been in the league, so I think he harps on us, being prepared for your opportunity. If you're up for the game, whatever your role is, maximize it. And, I would say that's the thing he tries to push for is just maximize your opportunity, be ready when it comes.
Your opportunity, what more is on your plate, like on a daily basis or weekly basis? How much busier are you, I guess, like wearing different hats?
I try to prepare the same. When you get deep into the season, you can kind of get low to sleep. Like, I haven't played defense in 8 weeks, or, this play hasn't come up since week 2, and that's kind of where you get taken advantage of because some stuff always pops up. It's a tough league, and everyone's looking for someone to slip up. So, like I said, when your numbers call, whether that's defense, special teams, or just a certain play, you got to be ready to execute.
How much do you feel like the play you made in Chicago, like, do the coaches say to you, you know what, this is the kind of thing that's going to give you more opportunities?
You did a good job, but it's not like running off the field like, all right, you're the best thing now. But I try to just be even. Like when my number's called, I'll be ready. I don't think more of it than that. I just try to be the same guy every day.
Is it fun though in film when you see that play again and?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a team game ultimately, and you guys, all look at it that way. You've never had playoff success in your career. You've never got there, and so I guess just reflecting on the opportunity that exists for you this year, like how much does that juice you up knowing you got a chance to play the postseason for the first time?
Yeah, it's definitely dope. I make this joke with some of my friends, but like it keeps your football spirit high. Like you're playing for something, and I've kind of always been like, if I get an opportunity on Sunday, like it's time to play. So I don't really try to like make too much of it, but it definitely keeps you prepared, and there's something at the end of the season that you're fighting for. So I'm just keeping that in mind every day.
In that regard, does this feel like an extra important game, must win? I hate to use that term right now, but based on what's happened recently.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit more expectation and pressure. I think most pressure probably comes from my daughter, who's like, ready to go to the playoffs, and she brings it up to me. So, she just, she has really, really high hopes. So sometimes I got to tell her, like, we just got to play the game this Sunday. Let's not worry about later down the road. But, she's enjoying it.